Hey everybody, what is going on? I am Maximus Rex and this is Big Baby Reviews. Welcome to another edition of Comics Haul where I take a look at my most recent comic book purchases. The majority of these coming from mycomicshop.com. You can check them out online and they just ship those right to your door. So without further ado, we'll get right into it and just to have a look at what I purchased and some of the reasoning behind it. So most of the stuff near the beginning of this stack is just kind of filling holes in my collection. I've talked about martial law before. Love martial law. I'll be getting to doing reviews of those books once I know for sure I have kind of the whole collection. I think I'm pretty darn close, and this is just an extra step towards that. I might even have hit the complete collection, so I'll be checking that soon to be able to start doing reviews of martial law. Great book. If you don't know it, just go out and buy an issue. You can find them, a lot of them, in dollar bins or just at really low prices. And it's just some really fun, Watchmen kind of Dark Knight Returns look at superheroes from British guys who clearly don't like superheroes, kind of like Garth Ennis a little bit too. So if you're into that kind of stuff, you'll love martial law. And the art by Kevin O'Neill is awesome. All right, next we got, I've talked about this on the channel before. I've reviewed issues 2, 3, and 4, so I'll be going back and reviewing this one now that I have it, even though I got to backtrack a little bit just because Ambush Bug is a pretty darn fun book by Keith Giffen. I feel it's like the beginning of where he starts to develop that humor kind of aspect to his work, and always interesting artistically. So yeah, I'll be looking at this one pretty soon. Quasar, just filling out my Greg Capullo run of Quasar comics. Don't have all of them exactly. I've already skipped over now in my reviews issues that I just don't have. So, this will just stretch out the Quasar reviews a little bit. Again, the only reason I'm buying this, Greg Capullo. Mr. Miracle number 6, haven't reached it yet, so I'll be able to review the actual issue rather than use my good old trusty New Gods trade, Omnibus. And as far as Mr. Miracle goes now, I'm just missing issue number 1. Pretty much got the whole run. Unfortunate on this one, there's a big 15 kind of Sharpied on top there, but got this one at a really, really reasonable price, and probably mostly because of that. So not the end of the world, still a pretty decent reader copy. It looks, for a 50-plus-year-old comic, looks in pretty good condition, actually. More New Gods stuff. This is when they reprinted the New Gods in the 80s, I think, when Jack Kirby was doing like Superpowers or something. He was working for DC anyways, and they just, these kind of thicker, nicer looking editions of the New Gods. There's only 6 issues, 11 original issues of New Gods. So I believe this one has issue 11 and like the Hunger Dogs or something mixed in there. Kind of weirdly edited, but anyways, we'll be taking a look at those at some point in my Jack Kirby reviews. All right, next bit of stack that we'll pull over here. Guess I'll start with this. So again, just filling holes here. So Lobo's back. I just literally have 1, 2, and 4. Don't have issue 3, so I was able to get that. Always loved the Sam Keith cover. Looks really cool, right? Don't get a lot of Sam Keith drawing Lobo back in the 90s anyways, and my preferred art style works really well on Lobo, I think. Preferred art style from Sam Keith. Catching up on some newer, more modern comics that I'd started collecting. Obviously, once again, because of Greg Capullo. This is issue 4 and 5 of Wolverine Revenge. So I just kind of trailed off, forgot to kind of follow that one as it was coming out. So I was able to get these, and I'll be reviewing them soon, so I can kind of wrap up my review of those Wolverine Revenge issues I've been doing. I think I was doing them on Wildcard Sunday. Vortex, this is a guy, I forget his first name. Is it Max Martin? No, that's like some songwriter guy. Anyways, his last name is Martin. His series, independent comic from the 90s, Vortex, heavily influenced by Todd McFarlane in the art style, and I always have a bit of an affinity for those, McFarlane clones out there, so I usually pick those up, and these were actually pretty cheap. I've got issue 1 already. I think I reviewed it. Pretty sure I did. So at some point I'll get to reviewing these ones as well. Issue 2 and 4, so I guess I'm still missing issue 3, and possibly others that came out after that. Like, look at that skull there. So McFarlane, right? Yeah. And then filling up some more holes here with Joe Quesada's stuff. So the Ash series that he did in the mid-90s. So this is issue number 4 and issue number 5, alternate cover by Greg and Tim Hildebrandt. Not quite sure how well that works on Ash, kind of a weird look, but you know, guess I prefer the Quesada art when it comes to Ash. Makes sense, he created the character, right? It just, you know, somehow the design just works better when the original artist draws it, right? Metaphysic or metaphysique, I assume is how you're supposed to say it. So this is, I'm really into Norm Brayfogle, great artist from the, you know, a favored period of mine in my comic book collecting, my youth, right? When he was doing Batman and detective stuff. Great artist. Did this series originally for Eclipse, and then for Malibu, Bravura, I believe. So I've got a mix there. I've already got some of the original issues of the Eclipse series and the Bravura. So again, just filling up some holes. Issue number 1, again, was not very expensive. Not something that's really sought out, I guess. And for the rest of the miniseries Metaphysique, we got 4, 5, and 6. I believe I have 1 and 2 or 2 and 3 or something like that. So again, this is one of those series once I complete, you know, I will read through and definitely have a review of, because again, great Norm Brayfogle artwork. And I guess he was following kind of what he was doing originally on Eclipse, where it's a painted cover. I don't think the interior art is painted, but you know, Norm Brayfogle doing painted covers and interior art is just fine by me. All right, next stack we're gonna bring out. All right, just once again filling out my Todd McFarlane holes now in my Incredible Hulk run. These are early issues. He's not inking himself, and these covers are not by him. Again, not a superstar artist, excuse me, just quite yet. By the time he's on Amazing Spider-Man, though, he's definitely becoming that. At this point, I'm sure he's probably one of the most, or the more popular artists at Marvel. So again, just filling some Amazing Spider-Man holes that I still got in my run. Issues 311, issues 313. Surprised they got away with putting that red blood there on the cover. Back in the day in the comic book code. Issue 314. I always remember this cover from when I was a kid. It was very different from your typical superhero cover. Spider-Man getting evicted out of his house here, and Mary Jane kind of sitting on the sidewalk. Something kind of original to that. 318, Scorpion. And ooh, I think the holy grail of this whole order is Dart. I don't know if it's rare, but I rarely see it in comic shops and back issue bins or anything. So looked it up on my comic shop, and they had copies in a very reasonable price. I made the mistake of ordering 2 versions of issue number 1. I guess I figured it was a second issue or something. I wasn't really paying attention, but again, it wasn't very expensive, so I'm glad to have both. I guess I've got kind of the completest set of Dart, the miniseries, unless they did alternate covers for issues 2 and 3. Maybe I thought it was a 4-part series, and I got, anyways. Just something about this guy's art that I love. There's like a little bit of Larson, but it's like slicker, and he does painted covers. I don't know. I don't think the interiors are painted. I think it's probably like I was mentioning about Metaphysique, that the interiors are pen and ink, but I can't wait to crack these open, have a look, because I just think these covers are amazing. And just an artist I don't know a lot about, never really... I don't know if he did anything outside of this, at least in the comic book world. And there's just something kind of different and original to how he does it and how he draws the ladies here. Obviously, a huge emphasis kind of on a pinup style and the big eyes and stuff. I see little tinges of Frank Quietly and like manga mixed in there. So, you know, I'm really interested to see more of his art inside and actual, you know, sequential art and pen and ink stuff. But these covers are gorgeous, I gotta say. And like I said, it's like a European Eric Larson or something. Can't wait to have a crack at those, open those up and have a look inside. Oh, this I've been talking about in my Giffen reviews, right? So I finally decided to... I've never read or bought a Legion of Superheroes comic in my life. I always thought of them as kind of cheesy, I guess. But this one is by Giffen, and he's dealing with Darkseid. And since Giffen, you know, for a while there was kind of a huge Kirby clone, but I like when he kind of channels that Kirby style. I figured this might be my best chance to read something outside of Jack Kirby where I actually enjoy Darkseid. Very rarely does it happen. So this is a run. It's one storyline. I forget what it's called, but involving obviously Darkseid. It starts here, the most mind-staggering multi-issue epic ever. Of course, a lot of hyperbole there. But apparently this is a classic storyline, so I'll be reading that soon and reviewing it on a Wednesday on my Giffen Day at some point, even though I'm further ahead. You know, chronologically with the issues that I'm reviewing. I have no problems backtracking and taking a look at something like this, which I think will be worth it. And then, yeah, the big reveal is that Darkseid's in there. You know, I don't know if we see him the first few issues or if he's kind of hinted at. Hopefully not like in the Ambush Bug series. If you saw those reviews, you know what I'm talking about. But yeah, I can't wait to check this one out. This last bit is not from my comic book shop. Just a couple days ago, I had to go into the city and stop by the Underground Mall in Montreal. If you don't know this, there's a huge kind of underground, they call it a city. It's basically an underground mall in Montreal where there is a comic book shop called Omnibus Library, Librairie Omnibus, excuse me, in French. And I just stopped by. I'd never really been there. Small shop, but they had a nice section in the back, a few bins of, no dollar section, but they had a $3 section. So I figured that was, you know, decent enough. I could find something of use to me. And I did, you know, filling out my Death's Head 2 series for $3, not so bad. The same guy who was doing the Vortex earlier on in the stack, Martin, there he is there, has also produced this comic, Snowman. This is the first issue I've been able to find, issue number 2. So again, the only reason I got this, one of those McFarlane clones. Can't wait to check that out as well. And this was one that I never knew about. And again, because I picked up some Brayfogle stuff, this was only $3. The Outcast at Valiant. And this is kind of a standalone issue. So I'll be reviewing this one at some point as well, probably like on a Wildcard Sunday. So there you go, guys. That is it for this edition of Comics Haul. If you're still watching the videos and you are subscribed, thank you so much. I really do appreciate it. If you're watching but you're not subscribed, please do so below. It really helps the channel out, helps us grow, and helps get us out there to other people who are into comic books just like we are. Everyone out there, thank you so much. Have an awesome day.
Like, subscribe, like, subscribe.
King Comics presents Big Baby, Volume 1, Issues 1 to 13, 204 pages of story and art. King Comics also presents Star Crasher one-shot, 32 pages, cosmic sci-fi surrealist adventure. You can find these fine comics at KINGCOMICS.CA, at MaximusRex13 on Instagram, or on Facebook, MaxRex or Big Baby.